Salut, David Wallman here, and I finally have the results for the Marc Tremonti Wah contest. Sorry it took me so long, it was really difficult. There were a lot of entries. Before I announce the winner, I want to talk to you a little bit about the process. I want to maybe explain why you're not the winner. First of all, you've got to realize that this kind of contest is not fair. Who am I to decide who's going to win the Wah? One lead might be very appealing to me for certain reasons, and even though I try to be completely unbiased, it's impossible. So if you're not the winner, it does not mean that you're not a good player. Here are a few rules, a few guidelines that I went by to make my decision. This might help those of you who are going to enter later on more contests. There's a lot of entries that were kind of eliminated just because the guitar was not in tune. And although being in tune doesn't have much to do with your musicianship, it still affects a lot the judge and the audience. When you have to listen to a lot of entries back to back, if one of them is not in tune, right away on the spot, it's not going to be appealing. Being in tune is really an easy thing to do, and if you're not in tune, you didn't make it. Another really important thing is to really catch the attention of the listener. If you managed to catch my attention right away, you're gaining a few points. I did listen to all the solos, but half of my decision was already made in the first 30 seconds. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes in the music business. If you're sending your band's CD to a record label, they're going to make their decision in the first 5 seconds. If they don't like it, if you don't catch their attention right away, they're going to put it in the trash pile. Try to think in advance of what you're going to say and try to say what you're going to say right away. Most of the decision is made in the first few seconds. There's a lot of great players out there. Some of you are extremely technically advanced. However, if you were throwing a lot of really impressive techniques, but there was no essence behind it, there was no story, you weren't really telling me anything, you didn't make it. Of course, you do need some technique. If the notes you were playing were sloppy and not really in rhythm and just not really well defined, you didn't make it either. Basically, remember that the decision is usually made in the first 5 to 10 seconds. And if in 5 seconds you threw 10,000 notes to me, I'm not going to remember which notes are important. I'm going to be confused by what you're trying to tell me. Keep that in mind in the future contests. That being said, if you're not the one that I'm going to announce in a second, that does not mean that you're not talented. The winner for this one is the happy winner of the Marc Tremonti Wah. His name is Fran Alonso 38. You won the Marc Tremonti Wah. Here's why I chose you. First of all, you have a killer melody. The melody didn't come right away in the song, but thankfully I listened to the full lead, and once you started that melody, I was completely sold. You managed to take a backing track, make it your own. The theme you played is so strong and works so well on the backing track that it seems that the backing track was written especially for that theme. Great choice of tone, you have good technique, but you didn't just use the technique to impress me. You used all your musicality to create that track. Watch the tuning, it was not extremely tuned sometimes, and you almost didn't make it for that. Overall, I was blown away by your entry. There were 18 of you that were on the final list for a week. Couldn't decide who was going to win, so 18 of you almost won. This kind of contest is not fair, but I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the backing track. Congratulations to the winner. You won the Wah. I hope you enjoy this. Don't be discouraged if you didn't make it. I enjoyed your entries. You're a good player. Remember that. And remember, no one else can do what you do. Be encouraged by that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Until then, salut.